and welcome everyone to our another episode of Object-Oriented ABAP on YouTube with me Amrit. So in the previous session we discussed our constructors and types of constructor, and also we saw how in instance constructor is completely different from your static or class constructor, right? Now in this particular session we will start with the features and its implementation of object-oriented programming, which is inheritance. Inheritance in object-oriented programming. So what is this concept inheritance? Again, this concept is something which is taken completely based on your real life. So if you recall, we all inherit some features of our parent, or we also inherit the properties, for example lands, gold, and everything that has been bought by our parent for us, everything we are going to inherit after them, right? So inheritance is something, is a feature which is used to inherit the properties and behaviors of the parent to the child. Which is used to inherit the properties and behaviors of the parent to the child. Then inheritance is one of the most important feature, of the object-oriented programming. What does inheritance do? Inheritance is used to reuse the properties and behaviors defined in the parent class. So inheritance is used to reuse the properties and behaviors defined in the parent class. This will be your technical concept. Now for inheritance in OOABAP, two classes are important. First one will be your superclass, and then second one will be your subclass. Superclass and subclass. Okay, so let's see them, how they are going to be a key point in the for your inheritance concept. So this superclass is also known as base class or parent class, you can call it anything, and this is the class which is to be inherited. Then you have got the subclass. So this is also known as derived class or child class. This is the class, or this class is basically inheriting the superclass. This class is inheriting the superclass. Okay. Now we will move on to the concept of types of inheritance. So types of inheritance. So in object-oriented ABAP, there are three types of inheritance. There are three types of inheritance, where the first one is your single inheritance, second one is your multiple inheritance, and the third one will be your multi-label inheritance. Single, multiple, and multi-label. Okay, three types of inheritance that is supported by object-oriented programming in different ways. Let's see them one by one and let's try to relate it. So, if I talk about this single inheritance, so single inheritance is used to inheritance is used to inherit the features of one superclass only, that is parent to child. There will be only one parent class and there will be one child class which will be accessing the properties of the parent class. Okay, that's perfect, right? It's completely perfectly fine. Okay, then you have got your multiple inheritance. So now if I explain it, this is how your single inheritance looks like. You can see it, there is a superclass, a parent class, or upper class, you can call it anything, and then there is your child class. So this child class is inheriting the feature of the superclass, right? Then this is multiple inheritance. So what it says, that multiple inheritance is used to inherit the features of the multiple entities. Is that possible? Is that possible to have multiple fathers for a single child? Definitely it is not possible, right? That's why it is also not supported by object-oriented concept. So multiple inheritance using classes is not supported by OOABAP or object-oriented ABAP. Multiple fathers or multiple super classes for a child class, so it is not supported in object-oriented ABAP, right? However, there is a concept called interfaces, using which we can implement multiple inheritance in object-oriented ABAP. That is something we will discuss in detail in the upcoming sessions. Multiple inheritance, right? Then at last we have this multi-label. So what does this say? That in this feature or in this type of inheritance, what you are going to see, there will be a grandparent whose property will be accessed or inherited by the parent, and then there will be a child who will access the property of your parent, right? So here we will have one parent class grandparent class, whose property will be accessed by the parent class, and the parent class will also be inherited by the child class. Is that concept clear or not? Right? This is your multi-level inheritance. Base class, intermediary class, or derived class. Technically, you can call it a class A is inherited by B and followed by, it will be also be inherited by C, right? So C will have the feature of both A and B, as we have all the features of our grandparent and parent both, right? So this is an overview and introduction part of our inheritance in object-oriented ABAP, and we will see the implementation of it in the next part. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. We will continue from next part.